Optical Media Board. Optical Media Board was created by virtue of Republic Act No. 9239 or the Optical Media Act of 2003 on February 10, 2004 to address the increasing incidence of optical and magnetic media piracy in all formats. Optical Media Board was formerly known as Videogram Regulatory Board. It is created under Presidential Decree 1987. Vision: an economy that is free from optical media piracy, where there is a level playing field for all legitimate players. Mission: to protect and promote intellectual property rights in digital form. The coverage of Optical Media Board is the entire territory of the Republic of the Philippines, including the economic zones as defined in this Act and in Republic Act No. 7916. Mandate: to regulate the manufacturing, replication, importation, and exportation of optical media, manufacturing materials, parts and accessories used or intended for use in the mastering, manufacture, or replication of optical media. What is piracy? It is an unauthorized duplication of film or music from legitimate intended to deceive, using forged artwork, trademarks, and logos. Piracy has become a transnational and organized crime. It has national security implications and should be the concern of everyone. Piracy is a crime. Be original. Buy original. Hashtag OMB Original. Follow us on social media at OMBGovPH.
Camera roll.
Morning.
Ikalawang Pasko na walang Noche Buena ang aking pamilya. Bago magpandemya, natanggal na ako sa trabaho. Hindi na lang gano'ng kumikita ang producer dahil sa mga pirata. Biktima na ng mga pirata. Sa pandemya pa. Ako si Julius. Dati ako nagbubuhat ng ilaw sa shooting. Jobless na ngayon. Sana, sa 2022, may trabaho na ako.
Dahil sa krisis dulot ng COVID-19, nangibabaw sa ating mga Pilipino, hindi lamang ang ating kaligtasan, kung hindi ang kapakanan ng bawat isa. Nagkaisa tayo. Nagtulungan. Ang kaligayan ni Julius ay hindi tungkol sa virus. Tungkol ito sa tama o mali. Mali ang mamirata. Mali rin ang tangkilikin ang pamimirata. Kakampi ni Julius ang Optical Media Board. Malinaw ang batas. Piracy is illegal.
Piracy in all formats. Optical Media Board was formerly known as Videogram Regulatory Board. It is created under Presidential Decree 1987. Vision: an economy that is free from optical media piracy, where there is a level playing field for all legitimate players. Mission: to protect and promote intellectual property rights in digital form. The coverage Number 7916. Mandate to regulate the manufacturing, replication, importation, and exportation of optical media, manufacturing materials, parts and accessories used or intended for use in the mastering, manufacture, or replication of optical media. What is piracy? It is an unauthorized duplication of film or music from legitimate recording or film industries, usually packed differently. Often compilation of film or recording by several different artists, usually poor quality. What is counterfeit? Copied and packaged to resemble the original sound recording or film production, intended to deceive, using forged artwork, trademarks, and logos. Piracy has become a original. Follow us on social media at OMBGovPH.
Rolling.
Ikalawang Pasko na walang Noche Buena ang aking pamilya. Bago magpandemya, natanggal na ako sa trabaho. Hindi na lang gano'ng kumikita ang producer dahil sa mga pirata. Biktima na ng mga pirata. Na pandemya pa. Ako si Julius. Dati ako nagbubuhat ng ilaw sa shooting. Jobless na ngayon. Sana, sa 2022, may trabaho na ako.
ng Pilipinas.
Yung background ko. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first stakeholders consultative meeting of OMB. For this afternoon session,
We are joined by our optical and digital media importers and exporters. By the way, I am AJ, your host for this session. Before we start, let me just provide some house rules. Please rename yourself with the format company, agency you belong, and the name you registered with. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Type in your questions in our Q&A box, and we will answer your questions later. Please join the OMB Community Viber group, where we will post our latest updates and announcements. The link and the QR code will be flashed later. The link will also be sent in our chat box. At the end of this meeting, a client satisfaction feedback form will be flashed before the screen. Let us know how to serve you better. To give you an overview of our event, here's our program flow. Our distinguished ex-official board member, Director General Attorney Roel Barba of the Intellectual Property of the Philippines will deliver his message of support for this event and for Optical Media Board's anniversary. This will be followed by the message of OMB Chairman and CEO Jeremy S. Marquez. After Chairman's message, our team from the Registration and Licensing Division will give us a comprehensive presentation on the OMB online portal. The floor will be open for Q&A. During this time, you may ask questions on the presentation or any OMB service you wish to ask about. And finally, our dear Executive Director, Attorney Victor Luis Q. Padilla II, will deliver his closing remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, congratulations to our steadfast partners in the Optical Media Board, now headed by a young, idealistic, and passionate leader, Jeremy Marquez, as you celebrate your 18th anniversary. The Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, RIPOPHIL, lauds your continued commitment to protect and promote intellectual property rights. We are thankful for OMB's dedication to this goal, from collaborating with IPOPHIL in enforcement operations to being a co-member with us in the Interagency National Committee on Intellectual Property Rights, or NCIPR. There is a certain significance in the number 18 as a milestone, and we hope you enjoy this special occasion. After all, your first 18 years of being at the forefront of the government's anti-piracy efforts only happened once. Again, congratulations, and we look forward to working with you for 18 more years.
Chairman and CEO Jeremy S. Marquez had been in the service for 17 years with a vast experience in public service, legislation, judiciary, executive, local government, and people relations. He started public service in the local government of Parañaque City before he joined the national government. Chairman Marquez was appointed Deputy Secretary General in Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, and after served as a technical consultant in the Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines, an attached agency of the Department of Trade and Industry. As part of his stint in DTI, Chairman Marquez was appointed as the Director of the Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau in 2021, before he was appointed as the Chairman and CEO of the Optical Media Board. He took up AB Political Science in De La Salle University and graduated with a degree of BS Business Administration in the University of Perpetual Health. He is currently on his postgraduate studies, taking up Master in Business Administration at the Ateneo de Manila University. So without further ado, let us all give a virtual round of applause to our Chairman and CEO, Jeremy Marquez.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. AJ, thank you very much. Of course, sa lahat ng nandito ngayon, our stakeholders, our distributors, thank you for joining us as we celebrate our 18th anniversary here in OMB. Of course, we wish to wrap up the past years by honoring the accomplishments of our agencies. we want to kick off also for the upcoming years towards a efficient and corrupt-free government agency. And as we move forward, we maintain the vision of creating an economy that is free from the optical and magnetic media piracy, and to create a level playing field for all legitimate players. And I'd like to acknowledge that what we have achieved in OMB in the past would not have been possible without the hardworking men and women of OMB. So as we celebrate our 18th anniversary here, I'd like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to all the personnel, all the people involved in OMB, our board, our past chairmen. Everyone has really worked very hard and supported one another. So very fortunate as a new chairman here to be surrounded by great people. So happy anniversary and thank you for your service, OMB. And while we continue to inspire one another for us to reach greater heights together, let us strengthen the pillars of OMB and the industry that we protect. And of course, to you guys, our stakeholders, who have generously given your time today to listen and give your inputs, which is very, very important to us. So this consultative meeting won't be the only one that we will be doing. This will be basically the first sign of our efforts to open our doors for a more collaborative and engaging partnership with you for our policy making and steps that we can do to improve our services from licensing, enforcement, our legal, and other mandate tasks that we have been given. No? And of course, under our leadership or my chairmanship, OMB will not only render service, but also provide partnerships. No? We want to be not only a agency that regulates this industry or enforce. We want to be an agency that is also supportive in your business, in your industry. We want to educate our stakeholders. We want to educate the public. We want to show the importance of being honest, being true, being having a business with integrity. That's why we will do all we can to make things easier for you and be one with you. No? So, of course, while this platform or this meeting will be more of seeking or answering your questions, we would like to hear also your suggestions. No? While we evaluate all our procedures, while we review all our processes in order to improve, to speed up our licensing procedures, while we review our enforcement and our manuals and everything that we do to see what we can do to further be relevant in today's time. As we acknowledge the advent of technology's advancement has become more prevalent for the OMB to continue performing its mandate for the strong challenge ahead of us. No? So it's important that we hear your thoughts, we hear your concerns, so that we can work together and give you the service that you all deserve and you all are longing for. No? So again, we want to thank everyone here for participating, and this consultative meeting is really for us to hear your voices, to hear your suggestions, and we will take note everything, your questions from the chat box. We will take note your questions from our Viber community platforms and emails. And then we will be having a planning session in the coming weeks to determine what possible changes we can do. If there are amendments or any need for us to create a new law, we shall start the process for the upcoming Congress. If there are needs to develop softwares or develop new platforms or portals to further improve our services in terms of licensing, potentially, we want things to be done from receiving, from payment, processing, up to release of the permits or the licenses within the same day. Right now, we have tasked our hardworking RLD or the licensing division to process and release the permits within the prescribed period of the ARTO law of 3 days. No? But I'm sure we can do it quicker. So to announce to you all that we've already made some steps in making things easier for you. The board has recently approved our proposal in minimizing a requirement, which is the NBI clearance. Ngayon po, ano na lang, any government-issued ID na lang ang replacement po nun. But we will continue to see kung ano pa yung mga pwede namin ibawas. No? Like I said, the goal is hopefully na same day no, through our portal. But nevertheless, I won't take up too much more of your time. I'm thankful for you being here, and please rest assured that this won't be our last. We plan to meet with all the stakeholders, not only the distributors. Earlier this morning, we met with the importers and exporters, and we have plans to meet with other industry players that are relying on intellectual property, like the movie industry, the cinemas, the music, the softwares, no? The gaming, content creators, no? Anything that is under unmanned, we really want to reach out and see how we can move forward and work as one with them. So maraming salamat. To show also the performance of OMB later, our Executive Director, Attorney Kokoy Padilla, will also brief you and summarize a few of our achievements in our previous years of 2021 to prove that OMB has been performing well and doing its mandate in accordance to law. And hopefully, with our consultation today, we come up with better solutions or come up with new ideas that will benefit not only this agency but everyone else in your stake and in your industry. So, maraming salamat and good afternoon po.
Thank you very much for your very inspiring message, Chairman Marquez. Indeed, OMB will reach greater heights with our collective efforts under your chairmanship. To ensure public safety during the time of pandemic, the OMB online portal continued to provide the frontline services of OMB to its clientele. Today, we'll learn more about it with our team from the Registration and Licensing Division. On behalf of RLD Chief Ms. Elizabeth Red, Licensing Unit Head Ms. Speranza T. Coronel, and Ms. Cheryl Di Macali, Registry Unit Heads, will tell us more about the OMB online portal and other relevant information about the services of OMB. Ms. Di Macali and Ms. Coronel, the virtual floor is yours. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead po.
Good afternoon. Let us wait for a while Ate SP is logging in.
Okay, we would just like to first acknowledge our stakeholders for sending their messages. Hindi pa tayo nagsa-start pero ang dami na nating messages. So I will be answering all your questions later, siguro after this. So just send in lang your mga questions. So don't be shy. Any questions na pwede nyo may suggest with us or any comments, you can just write it in our chat box. Or later, you can raise your hands if you want to communicate with us. Good afternoon, Sir Danny Vargas from Symphony Technologies Inc. So, hello po. And joining us also is Joshua Rosas from Usen Logistics Philippines Incorporated. And Miss Rosemary Coronison from Unison Computer Systems. So, hello. So, later you can write down your questions. So, para mamaya we can answer some of them. I think RLD is ready. Hello, Miss Emma Ruth Itang from Man Medical Pharma and Diagnostics Incorporated. Yes, ma'am. Later po, we'll be answering some of the questions na i-relay niyo sa amin. So, Grace Ainaga Memo Express. Good afternoon po. Joining us also is from Philippines PTE, Miss Charis Ann Caritos and Carl Ziz. Hello po. And from Optimum Refrigeration System Solutions Inc. also is joining us again, Miss Leonard Tavara. Good afternoon.
By the way, AJ, just to let the participants or stakeholders know now, we are taking note of all your questions, and later hopefully we could answer most, if not all, but those we do not answer, rest assured we will take note, and then we will communicate with you siguro by email or have another follow-up consultation meeting for updates regarding this. But again, thank you for the 3 questions that have already been asked. We'll just wait for a few more, and then later we will answer them one by one. So that's it.
I think Miss Cheryl is ready. Hi, yes. Okay, so let's start.
Actually, it's Miss SP.
Yes, Miss SP, hello po.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey ma'am, go ahead ma'am, the floor is yours.
Saan ulit? Screen share. Disabled ako. Screen. This is me yung host. Pa-share screen, please. Naka-disable?
Go ahead ma'am, it's okay na.
Okay na?
Yes ma'am. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. Medyo nalita ko. Okay, good afternoon again. This is the second time na mag-present ako. Thank you, AJ. I think, if I'm not mistaken, ang mga retailers ang mag-attend today and distributors. Yes? Okay,
Yes,
magandang hapon po ulit, Sir Chairman Jeremy Marquez, Executive Director, Attorney Victor Padilla, and the Division Chiefs, Ms. Red, Mr. Manny Mangubat, Attorney Cyrus, Paul Valenzuela, Legal Division, Ms. Lucy Guevara of Admin Division, and to all our guests, stakeholders, retailers, and distributors, magandang hapon po ulit. Ako po si Esperanza Coronel, ang head ng licensing unit. Magpo-present lang po ako briefly about Optical Media Board, particularly the mandates of under registration and licensing division, paano po pag-secure ng license and permit, and yung processes natin na ginagawa sa online application. Okay? Kita niyo po ba yung slides? Clear po ba yung voice ko, AJ?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear po.
Yes, thank you. So sa ngayon po, ito po yung application processes namin. We still accept application, walk-in application, and start of aming business office is 8 o'clock. And we practice no noon break. So 12 o'clock, bukas po ang opisina natin. And then meron din po tayong practices na no fixers and no yung mga licensed officer po dapat and mga brokers particularly ay meron po silang special power of attorney para po i-represent ng kanilang company or any individual na magpo-process po ng license dito sa opisina. Okay, and then as I mentioned earlier, we have OMB online application sa OMB portal. So we are strengthening that. Sa ganun, dito na po lahat mag-a-apply. But then, since we're in the process of ano pa ba? Inaayos po maigi po yan para po mas maayos po kami makapag-serve sa inyo. And then, meron din pong upcoming yung tradenet.gov.ph. So, malapit na po yan. So, abangan na lang po ninyo ang mga announcements sa ating website and Facebook account. Okay, ito po yung basic guide sa ating online registration and licensing. Nakapost po ito sa ating website at saka sa ating Facebook account, official Facebook account ng OMB. So pwede po ninyong i-visit yan. So ito po yung basic step para po makaproceed kayo sa OMB online application. Okay. Now I'd like to share sa video po kanina, specifically na-mention na yung tungkol sa mandate ng OMB at saka yung ating mga regulated provisions. Sa licensing po, we emphasize yung importation, exportation, acquisition, sale or distribution of optical media, manufacturing equipment, parts and accessories. Likewise, yung manufacturing materials used to intended for use in the mastering, manufacture or replication of optical media. Possessions or operation of manufacturing equipment, parts and accessories is also regulated. Possession, acquisition, sale or use of manufacturing materials for the mastering, manufacturing or replication of optical media. So, and then mastering, manufacture, replication, importation and exportation of optical media. So we have 3 regulatory provision. That is yung sa manufacturing equipment, manufacturing materials, and optical media. Likewise, this includes storage devices. So sa optical media board po, we issue 2 authority. So before makaproceed sa mga transactions, then you should have these 2 authorities. Number 1, license. And number 2 is permit. So madalas po nagkakapalit-palit ito ha. Yung license po is yun po yung lisensya as para mag-operate. Yung permit po ay na-apply per transaction basis. So yung license po, first na i-apply nyo first step. Whether license po kayo ng importer, exporter, distributor, retailer, dealer, distributor, ano pa ba? Producer, local licensee. So yan po yung first step. Especially kung may shipment po kayo, yan, then you have a regular shipment po yan, then you have to secure importer, exporter license. Ang permit naman po is, ni-issue po yan per transaction. Every time na may shipment kayo, import, export, then you have to secure a permit. Kaya nga po, dun sa portal, it's very important na meron kayong license bago makaproceed sa application for permit. Okay? So tandaan po natin, license is renewable every year. Permit is per transaction basis. Okay. Okay. And then, as mentioned earlier, so we have regulated products under manufacturing equipment, manufacturing materials, and optical media. For your view, ito po yung mga samples ng manufacturing equipments na nire-regulate ng OMB. And additional manufacturing equipment na may kinalaman po sa replication, transfer, duplication will fall under the category of manufacturing equipment. And next is yung manufacturing materials. So sinabi po Schedule B kasi naka-identify po ito lahat sa implementing rules and regulation. Ito naman po yung mga under ng manufacturing materials, polycarbonate substitutes, blank disk, hard disk drive, storage devices, that falls under manufacturing materials. And then yung third po is yung optical media. Ito po yung storage medium or device in which yung information ay nakalagay po sa isang CD. Tawag po namin doon ay bilog. Film, music, software, or any paper-based or tawag namin na book on this ay nakastore siya sa isang CD. So ito po yung mga sample niya for your familiarity. And then ito po ay still nire-regulate pa. Though kukunti na lang po ang nasa replicate, nagpapa-replicate, but still nakita niyo pa rin po ito sa market. And then next is yung magnetic media. Storage media device na nakastore naman siya sa isang container, pero ito po ay ano. Okay. So, like cassette tape, beta VHS, and floppy disk. Okay. So, in summary, sa application form niya, makikita niyo po may 3 column. Optical media, manufacturing equipment, and manufacturing materials. So, i-pick niyo lang po ano specifically yung i-apply niyo dyan. Producer, local licensee, importer, exporter, retailer, or ano po yung type o nature ng business po ninyo. Okay? And then may mga specific description or regulated products such as film, music, book on disc, printing equipment, optical disc writers, recordable discs, or storage devices. Yan. So other regulated products as described or mentioned in various memorandum circulars such as yung mga nabanggit ko na kanina, plastic casing, aluminum, metallic casing supplement relative to optical media. Ito po yung printing accessories. Ibig sabihin po, sa isang CD may nakalagay po siya na inlay. So yun po yung mga printing accessories na nakalagay doon or support yung mga optical media products nila. And then paper-based, magnetic media, all forms of paper-based na nakalagay naman sa CD like yung annual stock meeting ninyo, yung constitution, yung collection ng pictures o anything na paper-based sa PDF format na nakalagay po sa CD. And then MC 2018-002 emphasizes the regulation of storage devices. Kasama dyan yung USB flash drive, network attached storage, external, internal hard drive, solid state drives. Yan po yung mga different kinds of storage devices. But when you apply for license, storage devices lang po ang category, ang type of regulated products niyan. Okay. Let's move on sa ating application for online portal. Kita niyo po yan. Yan yung basic steps talaga kung paano po mag-apply sa application for only portal. 5 lang po. Una po, requirements are verified. Assessment of fees, processing of application, endorsement of application, approval, and printing. So ano yung first step? Given na po na meron kayong application, ito po yan ha, application and payment system. Okay, given na po na kayo po ay naka-register, nakapag-create na ng account para sa OD portal. So when you're going to apply for license, then you have to log in, enter your email address and password, and then mag-fill up po kayo ng business details. Diyan po nakalagay lahat ng information about the company, applicant, complete business address, and yung type of license na apply po ninyo. Ano po yung categories or classification. Make sure po na ito'y tama. For example, importer, business software, retailer ng blank recordable disc, local licensee ng film products, storage importer ng storage devices. Meron po kayong pipiliin doon under optical media business to be engaged in. So make sure po na tama po yung napili nyo doon. So para makaproceed. And then after that, i-upload nyo po yung mga requirements. Ito po sa right side. May nakalagay po dyan yes or no. So upon verification, check po ng verifier kung yung nasubmit po ninyong requirements ay correct, tama, base doon po sa hinihinging requirements ng OMB. Kapag po yan lahat ay tama, yung na-upload yung document, so yes po lahat yan, approve yan. Ibig sabihin, next phase na yon. Makaka-proceed na siya at maghihintay na lang po siya ng assessment fees. Okay? So ito yon. Ito po yung mag-a-appear sa screen ng o sa portal o sa dashboard ng evaluator. So yan po yung mga application submitted. So once na i-view yung details ng evaluator, ang mag-a-appeal po yung ipinasok po ninyong application form. Dun sa business details, i-review po yan kung tama yung entry ninyo, tama yung license o yung optical media business na mag-engage kayo o yung current business po ninyo, and then yung uploaded requirements po ninyo. So ito po ang mga verify ng licensing officer or ng OMB, ng RLB staff. Like what I've said, kung approve po yung application nyo, meron kayong notification na marireceive if it is approved. Application submitted, approved. Or meron din namang kung rejected. If it is approved, like what I've said, then makaka-receive ka ng assessment fee. Yan. Tapos, kung rejected naman po, meron ding notification. Anong reason bakit po kayo na-reject? Incomplete information, wrong category selected, incomplete requirements, or wrong attachment. So, dun po sa application sa portal, meron po dong notification sa taas na kung saan doon nilalagay ng licensing officer. If still nako-confuse po kayo, hindi nyo alam how to proceed, you can always call our office to ask for assistance. So, doon naman po siya i-send, or you can send an email to clarify. Okay po? And then next is yung processing. Once if the application is approved, like what I've said, makaka-receive po kayo ng assessment. And then pagka po na-confirm yung bayad ninyo, then ipaprocess na po yan. Itatag po yan ng license number or registration number. Diba? And then, tuloy-tuloy na po yun. After it was processed, and then meron pong endorsement ang executive director, the endorsement ng division chief namin, RLD, and then endorsement ng executive director, commanded for approval ng executive director, and then approval of the chairman. Once it is approved, then pwede na po ninyo siyang i-print doon din mismo sa portal, yung license po ninyo. Okay, ito po yung sample ng license na papiprint niyo po doon. Yun po yung gagamitin ninyo doon na sa store ninyo kung kayo po yung retailer. Make sure na print po yan. So, papansin niyo po walang pirma, pero meron po tayong QR code. Once na i-click niyo po yung, i-access niyo po yung QR code na yan, makikita po ninyo yung details about your application. Okay, in summary po, yun. So, ito po yung diniscuss ko kanina. In summary sa online portal, no? Application sa online portal. First, yung required documents nyo was approved by evaluator or licensing officer. Then you will receive an assessment. Once you pay the necessary or corresponding fees, that will be verified if na-receive na ng aming cashier or ng collection officer. So dyan, magka-appear din po yan. And then magkakaroon po kayo ng license number. Registered na yan, ibig sabihin. And then after that, i-endorse po yan for approval. I-endorse po namin yan sa chief for review, and then i-endorse na po yan kay executive director. Then the executive director will recommend the license for approval. Then applications approved by the chair. Then notify po yan sa kliyente na approve na po yon. So ibig sabihin po noon, ready for printing na po yung license ninyo na ganito po ang itsura. Pinakita ko kanina. Yan. Yan po yung itsura ng license na mapiprint ninyo. Okay, kung importer po yan, makaka-proceed na siya mag-apply ng permit. Kung license naman po, print mo po lahat ng license nyo per branches, kasi po ang license po ay non-transferable, per branch po siya. So pag nag-apply po kayo sa portal, halimbawa, 10 branches, and bawat branch po ninyo ay 3 license. So sa isang application po ng isang branch, for example, Lucena City, ABC, retail store, meron siyang 3 license sa Lucena branch. So doon po sa isang application, ilalagay niyo po yung 3 type of or classification or category ng license. For example, retailer ng storage device, retailer ng blank disk, retailer ng software. 3 po yun, ilalagay niyo sa isang application. Yun sa portal. And then, next application for another branch. Yun. I-assess po siya accordingly. Kung 3 per branch, 3 pong assessment fee yun. 3 license din po i-issue sa inyo. So pag na-approve po yun, 3 din po yung i-print yung license na naka-display dapat sa store. And may notification po din sa baba, warning that yung license po na yun is non-transferable At saka, dapat i-renew on or before expiration date para po walang penalty. Kasi 1 day to 2%, 1 day to 2 months expiration date is 20% surcharge ng license fee nyo. Pero kung expired yung license nyo, tapos na-inspect po kayo, that will be 100% surcharge na po, plus may admin fees. Okay, so I think yun muna. Kung may question po yung mga retailers and distributors, i-type nyo na lang po dun sa ating chat box. Thank you for listening. I hope clear po yung presentation. Now, I will call Ms. Cheryl De Macali para po i-discuss yung part ng registry.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cheryl De Macali, head of the registry unit. Registry unit is in charge of processing of replication permits. Para sa mga distributors, mostly familiar kayo dito. Like sa mga bago naman, yung replication permit is issued, dalawang klase. It's either commercial replication permit para dun sa mga training materials or yung mga binebenta natin na mga software or anything na may commercial value. Yung non-commercial naman is issued para dun sa mga year-end reports or yung mga annual reports na usually sinasubmit natin for SKC. Now, basically yung process is the same with the registration and licensing. And meron kaming 5 steps then, the requirements verification, assessment of fees, processing of applications, yung endorsement of application. Under the approval, we have the 3-stage approval. We have the endorsement of application by the RLD chief or the registration and licensing division chief. And then we have the recommending approval usually by the executive director, and the final approval who is the chairman po. And then I will not delve deeper into the process kasi basically the same din siya with the licensing. If you are interested na magpatulong or magpag-guide step by step, you can call us or you can schedule dito sa office kasi we provide hands-on or user experience talaga para mag-guide kayo or ma-walk through kayo sa process. We schedule 2 persons lang a day for safety purposes din po. So 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. If you are interested, you can give us a call para ma-schedule natin. Incidentally, we are still accepting mga walk-in applications like what Ms. SP said earlier. We accept walk-in applications, notarize yung mga forms and with the complete attachments. And simultaneously, although we encourage everyone to log in sa portal namin para mas easier na rin. Siguro maganda na rin experience or practice to na yung we use the online portal para mas ma-improve pa natin siya. Next slide, please. Now, I will discuss the reasons, common reasons for the rejection of application. Next slide, please. Anyway, one of the reasons why nare-reject yung application is because of incomplete information. Pag incomplete yung information nyo with the incomplete information sa online portal, tatawagan namin kayo and then we'll reject the application kasi kailangan kumpleto yung information sa portal para paglabas ng permit nyo is kumpleto rin. No matter how complete your attachments are, pagka yung application form nyo is not complete, whatever is in the application, yun yung mag-a-appear doon sa output nyo. So, dapat po, mas tayo sa application form pa lang. And then another reason for rejection is the inconsistent information. Next slide. Um, the inconsistent information, sometimes iba yung yung nakalagay sa application and then iba yung nakalagay sa affidavit or iba yung nakalagay sa kontrata. So we have to be consistent about this. Kasi we issue permit doon sa nakalagay sa application form. So kung may conflict, hindi namin i-approve yun or hindi namin i-accept yung application. And then another is, baka naman yung application attached or yung documents attached nyo is not clear, hindi mabasa. So, paki-make sure din na yung mga attachments are readable. Lalo na pagka yung mga important dates, like yung hanggang kailan yung validity ng contract. And then yung wrong attachments, another reason for rejection, wrong attachments. Baka naman kasi ang isinabit nyo sa amin is yung contract nung supplier dun sa isang kinuhaan nyo pa. So dapat kung ganon, i-present nyo rin yung contract nyo with your source, hindi dun sa original source. Although we appreciate kung pati yung original source dapat mai-submit din sa amin for reference purposes. Another thing na nare-reject yung application is yung for being mislicensed. Mislicensed or under license or expired license or no license at all. Ibig sabihin, baka naman mamaya ang license nyo is for CD lang. Remember, we have a separate category for storage device. So dapat, if you are distributing materials in SD format, pero ang license nyo is CD format, make sure na naka-license kayo for SD format din. And then lastly is yung items na under ng jurisdiction ng OMB. Pag hindi siya under ng jurisdiction ng OMB, we won't accept it. So, syempre, mare-reject siya. Ang isa pang importanteng gusto kong i-highlight is, before kasi, we issue replication permit valid depending on the validity of your contract with your supplier. Pero since yung license ng mga distributors or local licensee is valid only for 1 year, yung license ng replication permit depends on the validity date of the license. So kung ang application nyo for replication or for license is valid for hanggang, let's say, August, nag-apply kayo ng replication permit. Pero yung source nyo, ang contract nyo is valid until December, ang ibibigay lang namin sa inyo is until August. Kasi yung license nyo is until August lang. So yun lang po. If there are things that I have not touched or meron kayong gustong malaman pa or itanong, you can write your questions at the chat box po. And then we'll try to answer as much as we can po. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our RLD team, Ms. Di Macali and Ms. Coronel, for their very comprehensive presentation. The online service of OMB will surely allow us to continue providing excellent public service despite the threat of pandemic. For our participants who wish to raise their questions, this is finally the part we are open to for discussion. Now we will continue our questions and answer portion. Our panel today led by our Chairman and CEO, Jeremy S. Marquez, and Executive Director, Attorney Victor Luis Padilla II. With us also are Attorney Cyrus Paul S. Valenzuela from the Legal Division Chief, Mr. Manuel J. Mangubat, Enforcement and Investigation Division Chief, and Ms. Elizabeth A. Red, Registration and Licensing Division Chief, and our unit heads, Ms. Esperanza T. Coronel and Ms. Cheryl Dimcali. May I request our panelists to turn on their cameras, please? Yes, thank you. So for any questions, just click on the raise hand button and we will allow you to ask the question directly to our principals. You may also type them in the Q&A toggle box or the chat box. Okay, let's proceed with Miss Julianne.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello, good
ma'am.
afternoon. Yes, hi, good
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
afternoon. First, I would like to thank for this opportunity to have the consultative meeting with OMB. So to have more clarity and guidance on because especially I'm sorry, I'm from GA Philippines and I'm also representing PAMDRAP, a medical device association in the Philippines. So this is a great opportunity for us to voice out and to also have to clear guidance from your office. So my first question po, actually hindi siya question but more on suggestion as being part of the board of director of PAMDRAP. Because we're from medical device and we're still securing business under your office for our different like softwares in the equipment for to be used for the equipment. So, is there a possibility that our medical device industry will be exempted for applying for license? Sana po ma-consider because we're dealing more on the business software that would be installed in the equipment. So yun lang po madalas ang transaction and we also cater with regards to equipment to deliver to the customers to the hospital. So hopefully we can consider from the future. Also, I think we have also discussed this with Ma'am Dimakali before and Attorney Cyrus when we invited them as a speaker in one of our general membership meeting. And maybe on the future general membership meeting also, we would like also to invite you for us because there are some members that they don't have any guidance or they are experiencing now some problems with the Bureau of Customs. So yun po yung first. Sir EJ, dire-diretsuin ko na ba or kasi I have three questions. Okay. So yun po yung first question ko po. If there would be some possibility na ma-exempt po si medical device industry from this one.
Dear panel, please. Anyone?
Yeah, ako na lang.
Go ahead, sir.
Anyway, ma'am, we appreciate the question. And during our morning's discussion, that also was brought up.
Apa.
And we mentioned to them that while we understand that the exemption will be in the interest of the said industry, and I personally would like to exempt the need for any permit or license regarding regarding the medical industry. Kung ano man yan, lalo na sa panahon ngayon.
Yes po.
That's why we are reviewing our mandate kung pwede namin tanggalin yan. And if so, how we will proceed on doing that. Kung kailangan board resolution lang. If not,
yes po.
we will be seeing kung kailangan ba ng amendments to our mandates. But
Yes.
yun nga po, we acknowledge the need for that. And for my personal opinion, I'm in support of that suggestion, ma'am. But of course, we will still need to talk with the medical industry to see.
Yes po. Actually, thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman Jeremy. So yeah, maybe as part of the board of director of PAMDRAP, so we will schedule a courtesy call with you, sir, and to further discuss this together with the other board of directors. So kasi before we had already did that, but it's because of the new leadership. Probably one of these days, sir, opo, para we could further discuss and hindi lang po ako ang makakausap. At least the whole industry would voice out their concerns po.
I really appreciate that. Kahit virtual lang. No?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll do that, sir. Thank you po.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. Sir AJ, second ko po.
Second question, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry, sir. Opportunity ko na to. Actually, it's not only for GE Philippines that I'll be asking these questions, but also on behalf of the industry. So, dun po sa I think it really helps us, Ma'am SP, your presentation to understand more because marami po like yun sa online portal application. So may mga questions po. And we've started that last year for the renewal of the licenses. So may mga questions lang po, like for example, one of the clients, hospital, as I mentioned, dahil CGE po we are distributing the equipment to the hospitals. And then may question po kasi I think some of the or majority of the hospitals, instead of printing the results in the paper, so may mga CD po na binibigay sa patient as a result. Parang yun yung patient data. So they are asking for our OMB license. So I've advised them that they have to register or apply for their separate OMB license because our OMB license is only for importer, importer and local distributor or local licensee. Tama po ba yung understanding ko na they have to apply for a different OMB on their own sa hospitals? Kasi baka mamaya they thought that they can use our license for them to print out those patient data.
ED or no?
Apo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yung po,
The license for when it comes to duplication or replication is individual po siya, no? It depends
Opo.
on, it is the activity that we are licensing. So kung si hospital po, they're the ones who's doing that activity, which is duplicating or replicating, they should be also be licensed as a replicator or duplicator. Hindi po pwedeng i-carry yung license nyo. Ma'am Julie, ano lang, no, for clarification lang rin.
Opo.
Your license with OMB is at what category?
Actually, madami po eh. We have 10 licenses. Iba-iba po kasi. Like for example, like
ano niya? Darbe.
Opo. General Electric Philippines po. So marami po kami licenses. Meron pong book on this, importer, distributor, and then may mga, actually ang pinakamarami po namin yung business software. Kasi there are some, like for example, equipment, di ba po? We're giving the business yung mga software po na they have to install to upgrade the equipment. So yung po yung mga license namin. Pero yung 10 licenses po namin is only for importer and distributor. Yun lang po. Or local licensee.
Okay, I think we do have the correct naman license, no?
Opo, opo.
The software distributor, you also import those. So you
Yes
need
po.
license.
Meron
Now,
po.
you provide the hospitals with this software for their equipments.
Apo.
Ang si hospital naman, they do have a separate activity, which is when they actually burn the medical reports in a CD. Am I correct?
Yes po. Tama, tama po.
So, yung po kasi separate activity yun, hindi po kasama yan dun sa business mo. So it's a separate business that they need to license naman with us.
Sa kanila po yun, no? Hindi po sa amin. So, bali
Yes
si
po.
hospital
The
or
hospital,
client.
yeah.
Kasi they
Correct
have
po.
to burn it in the CD and they will just give it to the client.
So,
So yun po actually yung advice ko, and I'm sabi ko kaya I just want to confirm baka mali, or so ang alam ko po kasi pag replication po talaga they would seek for another license from their yung kumbaga sa company nila, or hindi lang naman sa hospital but others like kahit even our distributors.
But Ma'am Julie, as mentioned earlier nga by our chairman, that this activity is now being reviewed,
Opo.
maybe for revision or amendment in the proposed law.
Okay po.
Pero right now, since there's no exemption, this activity is still covered by OMB law. The replication or duplication of in a media device.
Yeah. Okay po. Thank you po, attorney. So to follow up po dun sa aking business software. There are some lang po questions din from the industry nagkakalituhan po. Like for example, business software. Before we have only business software license and for importer and local licensee. And then we encountered from Bureau of Customs that hindi siya applicable doon sa mga ini-import namin product. So it so happened that yung mga business software pala is stored in this kasi minsan hindi na USB hindi na pala CD but USB. So I think it would be a different license, right?
Yes,
So,
Pete.
Yes, ma'am. Iba po yung sa software na nasa CD, tapos yung nasa storage devices such as USB, hard drive,
Opo.
or SD.
Okay, so business software SD po ba ang i-apply?
Opo.
For importer and local licensee?
Yes po, ma'am. Example, importer, then sa baba, business software does SD or business software does CD.
Okay po.
Kung wala na naman po yung, Ma'am Julie, kung wala na naman po yung optical media na business software, you might want to abandon that license para to replace that with the storage devices.
Opo. Kaya lang minsan hindi makontrol Merong iba pa rin na CD pero majority parang USB na po ata ngayon they're using.
We'll also review that, ma'am, no? Baka it might be a duplication of a license since pareho naman silang business
software.
Just a matter of different lang yung pinaka device or medium of storage. I think we have to remember that what we are licensing or registering is the activity. It's not actually the device. But we will look into that, Ma'am Julie.
Thank you po, attorney. Thank you po. I think Sir AJ okay na po. Thank you po.
Wala na, ma'am. Wala nang third question,
yes,
ma'am.
Wala na po. Thank you po, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Attorney.
Thank you so much din po, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Okay, let's take Miss Susan Rodriguez. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank OMB for coming up with the stakeholders meeting. So it's been a while since we have actually gotten in touch with the team. So it's a really welcome note for us to get this opportunity po. So let me just first introduce myself. So I'm Susan Rodriguez. I represent Hewlett Packard Philippines Corporation. So sir, I wanted to ask to the panel, may I ask if OMB actually subscribed to the PNTR or the Philippine National Trade Repository, and who is updating this for OMB database? We use this kasi po to check for regulatory requirement for all the regulatory offices, including OMB. So the reason why I asked also is because in the past po, we have had experiences with the Bureau of Customs whereby they are asking for import permits. But when we look at the PNTR, it's not a regulated product as far as OMB is concerned. So yun po. Basically, that's the question. So may I ask if you subscribe to PNTR? And if yes, who is updating this for OMB?
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. We are part of PNTR as one of the regulatory as one of the trade regulatories. Basta we're part of that from the time it was created.
Okay.
And we are the one who's updating the data there. We have a consistent communication with Miss Daisy. Just recently, I think last month or last year, we just submitted a review.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, updated kami doon. So sila po yung nag-request sa amin ng mga updates regarding sa regulation ng OMB and mga products and memorandum circulars and guidelines ng OMB. So they are the one who's uploading everything na nakukuha nila sa opisina ng OMB.
Okay. Thanks, Miss SP. Kasi yun nga, opo. Kasi yung naging problem namin with Bureau of Customs is that Bureau of Customs actually insisted for us to present permits for some products that we imported. Pero when we look at the PNTR, apparently it does not fall under the anything that is regulatory as far as OMB is concerned. So hindi siya regulated. So what we do is we usually just print out the screenshot from the PNTR, and then we presented the Bureau of Customs. So that's the process right now. And unfortunately, some of the Bureau of Customs assessors would not, how do you call it? Parang hindi po nila ina-accept yung screenshot. And they said that they still insist that we present a confirmation coming from the OMB saying that this is not a regulated product. So kaya minsan, ma'am, we send an email pa, even if in the PNTR it says not regulated.
Were you able to submit a request or yung tungkol sa sinasabi niyo pong verification ng product?
Yes, so what we
to confirm if this is really under the regulation of OMB or not? As for PNTR, ma'am?
When we have those cases, ma'am, what we do is we send an email. In one of the previous cases we had, the reply that we got was, please apply na lang daw for OMB. Ang sabi ng, I'm not really sure who the person was from OMB, but apparently they advised us to follow the Bureau of Customs. Yun po, which actually is contrary to what is in the PNTR.
Ano ba yung said products, ma'am?
I think it's a customized to order product, which is a server. And if we were to look into the PNTR and based on the HTS code, ma'am or sir, hindi po siya regulated.
Yeah, I mean, I would presume if it's not regulated by OMB, we will not, or we should not ask you to.
Yes, sir. Oo nga po. Yeah. Okay. So it's okay, sir. I heard that you actually subscribe to PNTR and that you update that. So we will continue to just refer to the PNTR as our basis also for justification. So thank you very much po. I think I got the answer I needed.
Susan, I believe in our website we also have a list of the items that we are regulating. Maybe you can print that out as well. Or siguro, you may email us and ask for certification on exactly what products that we regulate. Maybe then the Bureau of Customs will accept any certification coming from us.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you. Salamat po, Sir AJ.
Thank you. Thanks,
you, Ma'am SP. Thank you.
Okay, then let's take questions from the Q&A. Okay, so from Michael Sia, are foreign sellers exempted from being required to secure OMB permit? If no, why are sellers from abroad allowed to sell in Lazada and Shopee? Hope this should be stopped. Any from our panel, please?
PD, I'll answer the part of the Shopee. Or Ms. SP, ikaw na muna.
Mr. Chair, I can answer that. Regarding foreigners, as much as we want, we have been conducting our own investigation regarding online platforms, including sellers of devices that are under the jurisdiction of OMB. In that regards, we have tried to set up talks with the online platforms to exclude them in their platforms when these sellers or resellers are not licensed by OMB.
If I may add on to what attorney said, it is quite difficult for us now, honestly, if we monitor one by one all of the so-called merchants ng mga online seller platforms like Carousel, Shopee, and Lazada. But I was told that before my stint as chairman, nagkaroon ng consultation meeting yan. And I think we're still waiting for feedback from the online platforms. But in regards to my experience, and I think okay lang if I share this with you guys. I came also from the Department of Trade and Industry, which is actually the bureau that I came from, the Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau, or FTEB, was actually the bureau that really handled the Consumer Protection Act. There, we had many complaints regarding online sellers in the online platforms that were not consistent or was doing commercial activities that was against any provisions that was stated in the Consumer Act. And laging sinasabi ng mga platforms like what I mentioned kanina, that it's very difficult for them to stop the merchants, no? Kasi they have hundreds of thousands of merchants, until such time that we said to them sa bill kasi or sa act that as long as you took part of the sale, whether or not you were the direct seller, whether or not you promoted it, referred it, or marketplace, you are already under the Consumer Act. So basically saying, kahit merchant sila at marketplace lang yung online seller, pwede i-demanda ng DTI yung Lazada at Shopee. Nung nasabi namin yun, parang nagbago ngayon yung mga policies nila. So they asked us to give them some time to further do quality control, to make sure yung lahat ng merchants nila have the necessary business documents, to make sure that lahat ng binibentang items was conforming with the Philippine standards, and likewise whatever documents that's needed. And coming through that, iniisip ko to do the same here in OMB. Although OMB is not the implementer of the Consumer Act, siguro we can take their lead in terms of making the merchant and the platform liable for any sale that does not have the necessary legal or business documents. So I've asked the legal division to review this kung ano yung pwede namin gawin. But for now, siguro we will just wait for the response of Shopee and Lazada and other platforms that could be Facebook Marketplace o naman yan, to see on what steps they have done already since the previous discussions on how to prevent such commercial activities. They acknowledge naman that it is to their interest as well to protect the local industries who are paying the taxes, who are acquiring the documents, no, and who are basically delivering the goods, no, that are expected from them. Kasi maraming complaints sa kanila yung mga foreign markets, foreign merchants, ay puro deceptive sales. No? So, we understand your concern, and we will raise this siguro once we do our planning and review our mandate. We will check this as well kung kaya namin incorporate to through a resolution or through any type of legislation for us to get jurisdiction to hold liable any marketplace, whether online or physical store, whether a mall, no, that allows the selling of products that is regulated by OMB without the necessary licenses or permits. Does that answer your question, ma'am? Okay. Edie, would you like to add, or okay na tayo?
I think we have said enough with that question. AJ?
Okay. Thank you for that question. And I think mayroon nag-raise ng hand si Mr. Kelvin Gan. Yes po. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir. Sir, may share lang ako kasi actually regarding that online selling platforms. Sir, nag-complain, actually, na-experience namin, we did engage the online platforms and told them that they will they will have sanctions because under our Philippine laws that you need an OMB license. And we CC'd OMB because they are not replying us, no. But unfortunately, after 1 week, finreeze nila yung account namin. So yes, it is true, sir. And then after a while, pinabayaan namin. Then we it's a little bit of harassment, indirect harassment, no. So then pinakiusapan namin na bakit kami finreeze? We didn't violate any law and something, no. But anyway, because used to be their legal office is in Singapore, but now they have, I think, legal representation already in the Philippines. So I don't know if that changed. Yun lang, sir.
Siguro, sir, if you want to call our attention on that, siguro if you can write us the incident, calling our attention, and siguro we can bring this up during our dialogues with Shopee.
Tap na kami, sir. Bali, and ngayon, we do submit our concern, but naging anonymous na kami, sir. We don't want to engage them already, sir. Kasi it's a loss, eh.
We'll take note na lang of what happened to you, and then we'll just bring it up as an example na lang. Yeah. So, hindi pa-take note na lang yan, please.
Yes, sir. So, any reason for the the exclusion by when they blocked your?
Sir, actually, ang actual na ginawa nila, they said that we are selling fake products. Until we got nag-request pa kami ng IPO license and everything, we present everything to them na we're not selling fake products. So I think 2 to 3 weeks before they lifted the freezing of the account.
Okay. In that case, we can just assist you, like the chairman mentioned. In case that we do have a meeting with them, this can be also addressed or raised with them.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. So let's take Mr. Kiel Pangilinan. Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello. Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me po?
Yes po.
Yeah. Good afternoon. So we're Soriac Enterprises. I'm registered as an importer and exporter of storage devices sa OMB. So it's not just, hindi naman po question na parang gusto ko lang pong malaman if there is a step po para mapabilis po yung pagbigay ng mga permits, import and export permit, kasi usually para pong lumalabas siya ng 5 days, 4 to 5 days. So na-experience po kasi namin sa mga ibang agencies like NSW, NTC, parang mga 2 to 3 days lumalabas na po yun na permit namin or certification. So hoping po sana as a registered with your agency, sana po mapabilis po sana yung pag-process po ng import permit na hanggat maaari po sana we're requesting 3 days kung kaya po, para po kasi para pong natatagalan po kami for 5 days. So ayun lang po.
Okay. Yeah. I think I mentioned kanina that is our priority, and Ms. Beth is doing all she can to make sure yung 3 days that has been prescribed by the Ease of Doing Business is complied with. But sir, the goal is not just 3 days. No? Sabi ko nga, once we have implemented the things that will shorten the process and make things easier for us and for you, we hope to give you your license within the same day or at latest the very next morning. So we're working hard on that, and we apologize for any inconvenience or any type of delay. But rest assured that is our utmost priority right now.
Okay, thank you po, and appreciate po this forum po na ginawa niyo. Thank you so much po.
Thank you, sir. So we have this question from Gay Regina Mogatas. We only have one license to operate. As you mentioned, every branch should secure a license. Shipment are stored in the main office in Manila, then we send them back to the branch. I think she's referring to license, the license, how many licenses they are required to secure shipment. Yes.
Hello, sir. Okay. So ano po siya, importer o retailer lang?
Hindi siya na-mention, ma'am eh.
So ang tinatanong niya kasi, dun sa warehouse niya ba yon o hindi? Dun lang niya in-store yung kanyang mga product?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Dun lang sa isa lang siya merong selling and distribution? Yung isa is warehouse lang? Kung
Yes,
warehouse lang po kasi yung isa at wala namang transaction na gaganap doon, i-declare niya po sa opisina yon. Meron kaming memo niyan dati. Magsasabi sila ng letter informing us na ito po yung address ng warehouse nila. They have to submit yung location sketch, pasad ng picture, and then layout ng buong warehouse. Doon lang po yun. Warehouse lang siya, doon lang nilalagay. Pero once na may movement po doon, may transaction na nagaganap po doon, then they have to apply for a license for that particular address.
Yeah. I think what SP is saying is that when you apply for a license for us importer, of course, we do believe that these imported items may sometimes need to be stored. So kung meron kayong storage facility like warehouse, you should include that in your application. And if kung itong warehouse naman is doing also additional activities like besides distributing. Syempre, pag nag-import ka naman, kailangan mo yung i-distribute, kasama na po naman yon. Pero kung you also sell by pieces, no, by piece in that warehouse, you already engage also in the retail business. And that would be a different license. Am I correct, Ma'am SP? So yes, so kung importer po kayo, kasama na ba agad yung as distributor yan, SP, pag importer sila?
Ay, hindi po sir, magkaiba po yun ng license.
Okay. Yun po. May follow-up question ba?
I think yun lang po. So from West Lingo, when a retailer paid but has no license yet, are they already allowed to buy blank discs? If yes, can it be seen in the official receipt if they applied for the correct license?
Ano ulit yung tanong, AJ?
When a retailer paid but has no license yet, are they already allowed to buy blank discs? If yes, can it be seen in the official receipt if they applied for the correct license?
Okay, if you apply for a license as a retailer, diba? Application pa lang po ito. This is only a mere application. It still has to be approved by the chair, no? That's why we advise our clients, the applicants, to wait for their license to be issued. Ang usually ang binibigyan namin ng accommodation are those who are renewing their license. 'Di ba? Pag nagre-renew po kasi kayo, siyempre, meron na kayong license before, and that upon payment, maski pinoprocess pa ho yan, we allow na magamit nyo po, mag-continue po yung business nyo under that license. Pero as a new applicant po, no, it is our suggestion, recommendation, advice that you actually first acquire the license before you conduct the necessary business. Pero kung andun na po tayo, might as well wait for the approval of the license. Baka kasi there are instances po ang nag-a-apply siya ng retail license, pero ang binibenta naman niya po panay fake devices. Siyempre po, hindi naman namin ma-approve yung retail license niya. Kung lalo na kung wala siyang proof naman na meron siyang legitimate supplier. So it doesn't mean that when you applied, pwede na po kayo magbenta because this can be disapproved. Did I answer that question?
Okay, I think it's clear, sir. So we're down to our last two questions. So let's take Mr. Alfie Viado's question. How do we update the list of models we sent to you last year for TV? For example, we have a new models for introduction this year. These are for Android TVs.
Android
TVs, mga TV, televisions.
Well, wala naman po kasing problema whatever model that is, no? As long as you are engaged in selling a device or under the jurisdiction of OMB, kuwari po yung kung storage device po yan, although we request that you add or you notify OMB what are the storage devices that you are selling, so that we can also monitor whether or not, kasi minsan nga, like I mentioned earlier, that these devices may be counterfeit. Yun ang minomonitor kasi natin ngayon. So when it comes to Android TV naman po, as long as there's kung nag-iba na po yung supplier nyo, I think kung nag-change lang na model, you just have to notify us. Baka kasi like I mentioned, no, it's our way of checking whether or not these items are actually legitimate or genuine. So we always based it on kung retailers po kayo, kung legitimate po yung supplier nyo. So with that, kung yung model lang nag-update lang ng model, kung same supplier and same brand rin naman yan, it would be best. We suggest that you notify us if there is a new brand or a new model. Pero hindi naman po talaga siya mandatory requirement. But it would help us very much when it comes to monitoring of these items. Since we are already in that issue, alam niyo po, kayo po kasi ang makakatulong po sa amin when it comes to also updating our database regarding what are the devices that are out there in the market. Kayo po nakakita niyan, kayo po ang unang nagbebenta niyan. So it would be appreciated if you can also notify us of such devices so that we can also monitor the market. Kumbaga, actually para sa inyo naman po yan, those who are licensed with OMB, we make sure that what they are selling are indeed genuine. So protection nyo po yan, yung hindi pong, kung yung mga nagbebenta po ng peke na mga kalaban po natin, yan po yung napupuntahan namin when we conduct our inspection. So it's our way of helping you na matanggal natin ng illegitimate market itong mga counterfeit devices.
Okay, thank you, sir. And our last question from Miss Alma Lorente. Hi, Miss Alma. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Sir, di ba dapat po ba maging mandatory na po sa mga online seller on a particular platform na ipakita na lang po nila yung mga license nila para malaman na rin po ng mga ibang online seller na eto mo particular na seller na to is may license po, para mas madali nyo po silang ma-monitor, or kami din po na ikita po namin na sila po pare-parehas po namin na kumukuha ng mga license po to sell online. Hello, sir?
That's correct, Alma. We heard you, no? Actually, those are one of our issues nga, concerns when we speak to these online platforms. Ang gusto nga namin is that they would require the online sellers of these devices that are subject or that are under the jurisdiction of OMB to at least, no, kumbaga baka iniisip namin maglagay ng logo ng OMB na kami magpo-provide or at least yung license number, di ba? Para
Yes, sir.
yeah, parang ganun po, no? And in that yung on their side, that papayagan lang po nila na magbenta doon sa platform nila those who have license with OMB. Lalo pag binibenta nila, syempre pag ano lang, yung mga devices under the jurisdiction of OMB. We hope that's part of our talks with the online platforms.
Okay, sige. Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so thank you very much for all your questions.
Unfortunately, yung time natin, if we can just keep asking questions, no? But para then we don't take too much of your time, we would just like to ask you to keep sending us your concerns, your suggestions, your questions. AJ will tell you how you can do that, no? But we wish we had more time with you, but again, rest assured, this won't be our last. We will have more consultations. Siguro in our next one, we will be presenting to you the changes that we will be making. Tapusin lang namin yung ibang rounds namin with other stakeholders, and then we will get back to you. Again, thank you for everything, and I hope you see our effort, and we will do our best to tackle all your concerns and make the necessary changes and suggestions. So thank you.
Okay, as what Sir Chairman said a while ago, please do send your questions or all the questions that we cannot accommodate today. You can send them through our Viber community group. Okay, so now to formally close our session, our Executive Director, Attorney Victor Luis Padilla II, will deliver his closing remarks. He completed his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Santo Tomas. He has been in service for years. He's the current Executive Director of OMB, who's working in hand with the Chair and CEO, the day-to-day operations and campaigns of the agency. Let us all welcome Executive Director Attorney Victor Luis Padilla II.
Thank you, AJ. Again, good afternoon to everyone who are present here today. We have come to the conclusion of our very first stakeholders consultative meeting. This was truly a remarkable event, as this is the first of this endeavor, a milestone for OMB indeed. Thank you, Chair Jeremy, for piloting this undertaking. It is an exceptional initiative, and I'm sure our stakeholders are grateful for having this platform for them to be heard. To our dear stakeholders, we greatly appreciate the support you have given us today as you graciously accepted our invitation. We are very thankful. Ang dami po nag-participate ngayon who attended, 108. And I'm sure sa dami nyo po, no, parang marami po kasi dito, they're not operating just one establishment or retail store. There are more. So marami pong establishments ang attendees today. To them, thank you very much. This has been an outstanding exchange of information, ideas, and suggestions. Rest assured that we will sift through all of these and continue to enhance our processes and systems, reflecting on the collective contributions and realizations we gathered today. Today's meeting will certainly have an impact on how we will move forward to ensure that we deliver better services to you. Our dear partners in the industry, this is us, the men and women of OMB, reaching out to you, to hear you, to understand your plight, to set the seal on our goal to provide you with efficient and convenient platform, especially with these challenging times. This may be the end of our event, but please know that we have open lines for you. You should have open lines for you. You have any more queries, clarifications, or suggestions. Okay, in behalf of the dedicated officers and staff of OMB, I would like to once again thank you all for taking part in our meeting today. We hope to see you again in our next meetings and events.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, that wraps up our session for this afternoon. To catch more of our announcements and other updates, we invite everyone to join our Viber community group by clicking the link on the comment section or by just scanning the QR code. You may also click the link to join the community. And we hope to see you there. So please, all the questions that were not answered today, please, you can freely share it to us by using this link. And we hope to see you there. Then lastly, do not forget to scan the client satisfaction feedback form. This is to help us serve you better. Then once again, thank you very much and be safe, everyone.